Virgo, hello, and welcome to your summer 2025 shapeshift reading. We're going to look at the shape you're shifting out of, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shapeshift looks and feels like for the summer season. I'm Andy, I'm your reader, and I'm joined today by the Unveiled Tarot, a new deck by Jessie Lonergan. All right. Let's see what's going on with you, Virgo. The shape you're shifting out of. What is the shapeshift for Virgo this summer? You'll know these readings are meant to be watched at the beginning of the season, and then again halfway through, and then again at the end of the season, so that you can get more specific insights as you actually live through the shapeshift. Trust me, the second rewatch, that final rewatch, looking back in hindsight, they hit a lot different than the first time around. Okay, so you're pulling the King of Pentacles in reverse, and in this card, and by the way, all the cards are facing the same direction in this deck because, yeah, I don't shuffle chaotically on this one, and so when they come out reverse, I take it reversed. So this particular King of Pentacles is very clearly head of the boardroom, but what's cool about this deck, it unveils, it's the Unveiled Tarot, so it unveils some sort of like hidden truth beyond the picture that we're seeing. And so the unveil here is the gamble. It's like at the head of the business is this sort of like thrill of capitalism. The like thrill of the game. And of course, we know like gambling can lead to some pretty destructive stuff, addictive stuff. It can be addicting. So it's interesting to see King of Pentacles, that particular read of King of Pentacles as sort of the CEO, head of business, in reverse for you. Stepping down as CEO. Interesting. Okay, what else? What is the shape Virgo shifting into? If you're shifting out of CEO, out of the head of business, or the gamble of the game of business, then what are you shifting into? Okay, wow, Four of Wands. That's beautiful. So many people are getting this card. Shifting into like celebration of life, celebration of relationship. We're seeing a wedding cake. Two people, yeah, celebrating their life together and people celebrating with them. That's very beautiful. Okay. And it might be kind of a fast shift. Are you just like shifting your focus away from work? It could just be that. I feel like there's one more. There's like a piece of this puzzle that we're not really getting. Okay. Yeah, I think it's happening pretty quickly. You got the Chariot. This just came out for Leo as well, the Chariot, but in a very different context. And you also have this Five of Pentacles. Which looks like, you know, all of the good soldiers in line, but again, a truth that's being revealed in this card is the wounded. Interesting. Take a look at this with me. So shifting, I'm just going to turn King of Pentacles upright for the sake of the imagery so you can really see the card. But, you know, remember that it was reversed. So it's sort of like stepping out of this role, shifting out of this role of King of Pentacles as head of business, heavy focus on business, kind of like living for the thrill of the gamble, the game of like, kind of being in that capitalist rat race, and then shifting into the Four of Wands, maybe very quickly, because we have the Chariot here, which is showing like, interestingly, it's race cars at a race, which indicates speed. We're moving quickly. But then the Chariot is the window of reveal that we're getting is we're seeing like an ancient Greek, maybe warrior in that kind of chariot, like going into battle. Battling the capitalism or the urge, the sort of draw to be the head of the table in terms of business, to be this like very business focused version of yourself. Because what's kind of being revealed underneath with the Five of Pentacles is like, when everybody kind of falls in line as these soldiers, what goes unacknowledged is like the loss to make that sacrifice and the injury that actually lies underneath of that uniform, that suit, that business suit. And so the whole thing is shifting maybe away from that sort of like rote, almost like militaristic capitalist mentality, maybe shifting very quickly, kind of slaying that mentality, that part of yourself, in favor of a part of yourself that's focusing more on relationships, that's focusing more on like the things truly worth celebrating to you in your life. Okay. So far seems clear. Before we get clarity, I just want to read a little bit from the guidebook, because you know I love a little guidebook wisdom, a little guidebook moment. Okay. I want to know about the Five of Pentacles. It's very evocative in this spread. It's sort of the truth of everything. Okay, here we go. It says, you went off to war, risking it all and putting your money where your mouth is, but it all ended in failure. You find yourself beaten and destitute, maybe even broken, but you're not alone. You will always have the opportunity to rebuild. Yeah, because the Five of Pentacles in the tarot traditionally can talk about like failure and disappointment and like very real, like material crash out or some sort of like loss of income or loss of job or loss of money. So this totally could be like loss of job combination for someone, or giving up some sort of business or job that just didn't work, or just like looking at the parts of the way that focusing on business is sort of leaving you at a loss, especially in respect to this other part of your life, the more like relational and celebratory aspect. Okay, let's read the Four of Wands. You have worked hard and put in the time and effort necessary. Now it's time to enjoy your cake. You and the people around you have come so far. You're transitioning now into a new phase of life. It's important to acknowledge and celebrate this moment. Yeah. I think the thing is like, you have worked hard. You have focused on work and business and put your pedal to that metal, to speak the language of the Chariot. You've done this rat race. Oh, wow. Literally. Rat race. You've done that. And now you are moving. Sometimes the Chariot, because it's such a pivot point between, have you ever seen like Lindsay Mack organizes the major arcana in this way, where it's broken up into 3 sections, and it's either the end of the one or the beginning of the next like leg of the journey is the Chariot, because it's the vehicle that takes you to the next level of your life. And so there's something here, Virgo, about the next phase of your life. Dude, It has nothing to do with business. It has nothing to do with that like capitalist pursuit of success. It has everything to do with the pursuit of success that looks like you getting to eat your cake and enjoy yourself and like enjoy your time and celebrate your relationships with the ones that you love. You know, it's just like, it's not the vibe. It's no longer the vibe. Okay? You've been through enough. You've won some, you've lost some, maybe more so lost some. And now your life is just naturally shifting towards different priorities. Okay. So let's expand on that a little bit. I'm gonna use the beautiful, one of my oldest decks, the Dark Exact Tarot by Coleman Stevenson. I mean, you can see this is like the first edition tuck box, just totally, what does it say? There's a quote on here somewhere. I'm feeling like I want to read it to you. Oh yeah. It's like hidden on the bottom flap. It says, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. I think that's the mentality that you've been in. It's like, okay, I have to be successful in this business, and I'm gonna set out to do it. And it's like, okay, like you did, and you know, you went and you came back and you lost some stuff along the way, and you know, you're sort of like forever altered in this, in some sense. And now it's just not that vibe anymore. And now maybe what you say you would be looks a lot more like this. Okay. Okay, Dark Exact. Let's clarify the King of Pentacles reversed with the Five of Pentacles showing up here. And again, this could be very literal for some folks. They could be like, you could be transitioning jobs or even like losing a job. And if that's the case, I just want to acknowledge that it's really scary. Yeah, Knight of Wands with the Chariot, it's happening quite quickly is what it feels like. It's moving, it's like a quick transition. So again, some of y'all could be like sort of unexpectedly or quickly losing a job. Interesting. The World and the Moon. Okay, we're getting some majors here. The World is the final card in that major arcana journey. So it is the culmination. It is the end. It is the accomplishment. Like, it's not just something gets cut off, but it's sort of like the fruition. Something has come to its fullest realization. And so there's this sort of ending. You got the beginning bracket, and now here's the end bracket. That part of your life is being bracketed and shifted, and you're starting a new bracket. You're starting a new sentence. And the Moon is showing that shift. That like you're moving into a different phase. I wonder if some of you are shifting, like if you work with your secondary progressions in astrology at all, if you're like shifting to a different progressed moon phase, that could be kind of interesting. So like when you were born, I was born in a waxing moon just after the new moon. So that was the moon phase I was born in. And then as I progressed through life, if we just like shift the zodiac with those yearly progressions, eventually the moon phase that my life is in, it will reach that first quarter, and then it will reach full moon. And so maybe you're shifting into a different phase of your life. The Empress is underneath that, and I just want to say, like in the pre-shuffle, the Empress was all over this deck. So I might pull her out at some point. Okay, I'm like realizing I always regret it if I don't pull it out. So I'm just gonna pull it out, and I'm gonna put it over here with the Four of Wands. The Empress and the Four of Wands were just made for each other. They really were. Okay, so you're culminating something. It's a swift change, Knight of Wands, Moon. It could be a quick change. It could be like overnight, your priorities shifted and things are different. But you're shifting, okay, shifting from the King of Pentacles. I get it, I get it. I love when I get it. It's so nice for everyone. Okay. Shifting from the King of Pentacles, I'm gonna find it. You know what? She was supposed to come out, I think. Where's our Empress? She's so pretty. And I saw her twice in the pre-shuffle, and usually that's like a pretty strong indicator for me. That sticks with me. Okay, where's my Empress? It's a real pretty card. Man, I really like this deck. Aha. Just look at that. Like really rooting in. Digging deeper now. Beyond that, like, pursuit of capitalism. Now you're reaching for something else. And this is essentially the shift you're making. Look how wild that is. Shifting out of the role of head of the business table into the role, like out of the King of Pentacles and into the Empress. You're completely shifting priorities, shifting energies entirely. You're no longer sitting at the desk. You're kneeling at the foot of the tree. What? Interesting. Okay. Pretty. So pretty. And what's really cool about this too, like revealing that Empress in that pink, beautiful pink window, because otherwise we're just in the context of this forest, very verdant green. But the glimpse into the Empress reaching into the root system is the same blush pink that's in the Four of Wands. I mean, it's so pretty. Yeah, so nice. Okay, Empress, got it. Okay, what else about this shape shift out of business mindset? Yep, Ten of Pentacles. That's it. It's a different growth mentality is what I just heard. Holy crap, what? Because the CEO certainly has their mind on growth, some kind of growth mentality to gain more profit, to make more money, to grow this business in some way. And the Empress's growth mentality is to reach into the roots of the already existing ancient tree and understand its history, understand its root system, how it grew to be where it is now, and how it might continue to grow, and how she might continue to grow with it or learn from it. Like, this is a completely different growth mentality. Also, we're looking at relational security because the Four of Wands is part of this conversation. It's not just like growth of this business, the singular focus. It's almost like your world view has sort of expanded to include someone else or to include other people, even to include the earth itself, in this way that just makes you uninterested in the growth of the business, especially because it hasn't given back to you the way that you expected, I think. It's like that success mindset, as it's defined by capitalist society, has not given you what you expected. If anything, it took from you and left you with this sort of sense of failure or having lost something. And so I think your values are shifting and what you find valuable, your sort of ultimate goal, because sometimes I see the Ten of Pentacles as like an ultimate goal. Your goal, your vision for the future, your idea of security and growth and wealth is changing. or has the opportunity to change here this summer. Okay. Anything else for Virgo? Just the Chariot again. Okay, and King of Swords, Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, some sort of big time truth, and Four of Pentacles under that. Big time truth coming out about work and security and foundation and like everything, Eight of Pentacles, you've been working towards and what kind of foundation it is really giving you. And so I do think this is a really foundational shift, and some truths, King of Swords, are coming to clarity for you around work and what you're working for, how you're working towards it, and like really just what foundation even means to you. And this Chariot on this side with the Empress now is showing us the Chariot as a key to your heart. Four of Wands. This is a softening, Virgo. What was your last spring reading? Unclench? Your spring season shift reading was unclench. And now here we are at this softening. Because I think you're really seeing the truth of it. You're seeing the truth of what all this work is really about and what it's all for. It's becoming clear to you, like what actually gives back to you and what actually supports you. And I think it's very different from your previous pursuits and mentalities. Okay. It's interesting, like the clarifying cards are not giving us specifics. They're keeping it very major arcana, very sort of big picture, because I think this is a big worldview shift, maybe huge perspective shift for you. Rainbow and check to self. Whoa. Again, this is a huge shift, I think, around what you think is valuable, what you think payment is, what it means to invest in yourself. Okay. The end of the rainbow makes me think pot of gold, and then we get check to self. Okay, other final thoughts for Virgo. Happy birthday, by the way. As I get this reset card. Yeah, this is such a major, like, mental reset. This is, and maybe just a chance for a life reset. Like this, again, like if you are the farm under that, which is just the Empress's domain for sure. But if you are someone who, it also symbolizes to me like getting out into the countryside or like embracing a slower pace of life, a simpler pace of life, getting some like wide open spaces and fresh air and slowing down. Again, just like leaving the rat race is how I would summarize this reading over and over. But if you are someone who is like finding yourself at a crossroads where you're transitioning jobs suddenly, it's like that little smiley face pasted on the finger. This is an opportunity for a reset. And it, to me, it looks like a very, very positive one. Okay, I think there might be, is there one more? Whee, break the cycle. Absolutely. Absolutely. Break the cycle. And I think that's it. I think it's just like breaking that cycle, that like mental cycle of I need to pursue success. I need this and this and this to be successful. This is what that looks like to me. I think your ideas of success could really be changing, Virgo. Let's just look at this together now. I love that we have the moon cycle changing right next to break the cycle, because I do think you're entering some sort of like new progressed or like a different moon phase in some of y'all's progressed chart. I would definitely check that out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, get with me. I'll explain it to you and we'll look at it together. But the world is an opportunity to break a cycle, because you've already sort of lived through this King of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles journey. I think you've taken it as far as you can take it. And it's now sort of at the point where you're like beat. Look at that Five of Pentacles. It's like, okay, great. I was a good little soldier. For what? For all of my adult life. For what? You know, and I think this is like a pretty like generationally, at least like millennial disillusionment spread that we're seeing here. Although I'm sure it could apply to people at different phases of their life in different generations. But it really does feel like this disillusionment with the idea of a capitalist pursuit that you have maybe really devoted yourself to. And so now there's this different, interesting that we have this like finger up as the reset next to the Knight of Wands. The imagery is so similar there, because it's sort of like, this might be a quick change for some folks, but this is like an incredibly creative, maybe spontaneous opportunity to start over in some way, to completely reset your mind and reset your like worldview, belief systems, your values. King of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles. This is a revelation, a mental reset of clarity where you suddenly see it all so clearly. Working was supposed to give you this Four of Pentacles, solid, safe, secure foundation. And of course, in some ways it does. You get paid from a job, you put it in your bank account, you have money. Like, yes, that is a form of security. But I think you're just at this point where maybe you're experiencing Four of Pentacles, money, a little money in the bank, but also Five of Pentacles, totally beat down, burnt out, wounded at the same time. And it calls into question what foundation even means. And security at what cost? And like what security even means. And so I'm looking at the Empress, and now you're reaching down for a different type of root system, a different type of stability at the base. And perhaps stability is starting to look different to you. Interesting that we have the arch of the rainbow and the arch of the Ten of Pentacles. They're so similar. Again, the goal, the end goal, the vision, I think, the dream is starting to change. You're wanting maybe to focus more on building stability and roots in place with someone else, Four of Wands. Maybe you're focusing more on like, okay, I actually just want to enjoy my life. So how do I do that? And it's this process of unlocking your heart, maybe quite quickly, maybe all at once, that's really sort of opening up what looks like a much sort of more enjoyable life for you, Virgo. Like you get to enjoy your life, and that's the main revelation here, I think. Like, wait, I get to enjoy my life? I don't have to keep just doing this over and over and over until I can't anymore? Okay, you know, mind blown. Okay. Amazing reading. If this is resonating with you, Virgo, beautiful happy birthday reading. And yeah, happy summer. Take care.